Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Blade Jacob here, and right now I'm going to be doing a video talking about the new Fox TV series Gotham. Now, we just seen the premiere of it last night, or Monday actually, Monday. But I watch Raw on Mondays, so I wasn't able to watch it until tonight because I watch Raw on Mondays. I watch The Shield on Tuesdays. I watch Legends on TNT on Wednesdays. So I watched it on demand tonight. I had to check out the show, and I just want to give my thoughts on it. If you don't know what it is, basically it's a prequel to Batman, really, or the character. We're basically seeing how the city of Gotham was before Batman became active. It starts off with, this isn't really spoilers, but there will be spoilers in this video. It starts off with the murder of Bruce Wayne's parents, and we see them get robbed, and then they get shot down in an alley after they see a movie or a play or whatever. It was probably a movie since this is set in a more modern time. But and there's actually some pretty good acting from the kid who plays Bruce Wayne as a child. His name is David Mazouz, or I can't pronounce your name, man. I apologize, but he does a pretty good job. And, when we see Ben McKenzie as James Gordon, he connects with him over it, and he kind of comforts him at the crime scene, and, thus promises him that he will find, his parents' killer. And we also see Donnell Logue, or Laug, I guess I can't pronounce many names today, but he plays Harvey Bullock, and he's supposed to be older than Gordon in this version, as sort of like a mentor, even though they have very different ways of going about their job. And then we have, let's see, I got Jada Pinkett Smith as Fish Mooney, or Money. It's with two O's, so that part kind of confused me for a second, but and I don't believe she is a comic book character. I think they solely created her for the show. And, we see that Bullock's kind of involved with them, and we see Robert Lord Taylor as Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin, and he's sort of serving Fish Money, Fish Money, really. But, anyway. And, and he's basically doing her every command until we find out that he's actually, giving information to the other police department, or whatever you want to call it. And, so we really see the corruption right away, because we see that Bullock has connections to Fish Money, and then there's John Doman as Falcone. And he actually does pretty well too. So, you just see how intricate and complex the whole system of the city can be. We see Falcone, it's made clear that he really runs like the mayor and things like that, and has a large amount of influence. And, all these qualities we've seen in the comics, even in the Dark Knight movies lately, we've seen, that kind of thing going around. And, so the thing I questioned about this series before I seen the first episode was, them bringing in all these villains before Batman's even a thing, you know what I mean, before he's active at all. Like, we see Selena Kyle, who's played by another name I can't pronounce, but Cameron something, I can pronounce her last name. I apologize once again, but we see her, and the actress is 15 years old, and Bruce's actor is supposed to be 13 years old. So it's a little odd seeing Catwoman already knowing Bruce before, the whole Batman thing starts. And again, let's make it clear, I haven't read as many comics as a lot of other people, but, I still know the basic stories of each character and things like that. And I still find it a little odd that all these villains happen to be popping up well before Batman even, is around the city, or, is really created by Bruce. So, yeah, it's really just a grab, as a way to get more viewers and higher ratings and stuff. They know the only way they can really draw more right off the spot is to, show some Batman things about the show. Which is why they're bringing in all these characters and showing their origin stories, or their version of their origin stories. And most of them do a pretty good job. I mean, we even see Selina Kyle because, they're trying to track down the one who murdered Bruce's parents. And, it turns out to be that he was framed, by fish money and all that. And, of course, I told you before, Penguin ratted her out on that. And thus, she had Penguin beaten down, and it led to a great scene with Harvey Bullock trying to make Gordon realize that, you can't have a job like this and, be a good person, basically. And so Fish Money, the only way they can get back on our good side is if Gordon kills Penguin and dumps his body in the river, basically. And so, Gordon and Bullock take him out there, and Bullock lets him walk a distance, and Gordon walks Penguin to the end of the dock, and then he shoots, just beside his head so the bullet doesn't actually hit him. But, then he pushes him in the water anyway, so it looks like he shot him in the head and killed him. But, of course, Penguin swims away, and, it leads to a pretty brutal scene of him coming up on the shore, and then he sees a guy, and he just slashes his throat and kills him, and takes his sandwich. But, so I think that's going to be another thing about the series. I think we'll see Penguin sort of gain more influence and power as it goes on. Maybe not quite to the point of where he was, and, where he is by the time Batman's around, but, maybe to the point where, it's starting that level he's at, you know what I mean? Again, the origin, their version. But, so the guy who plays Penguin is pretty good. Robert Lord Taylor. And, I was sort of expecting the Penguin to be a little bit, chubbier, I guess, but, I guess that comes later in his life. So, he does a pretty good job. He's brutal. He's, eccentric. You think he's just serving Fish Money, but really, he can really just snap fairly quickly. So that's a good quality to see in the character again, and so he's played very well. We also see Sean Pertwee as Alfred Pennyworth, and he looks a little bit tougher than Alfred probably should. But it's still good to see Alfred brought into it, along with Bruce. Catwoman, in the show, she witnesses Bruce's parents being killed, and we see her watching the mansion, so she's probably going to try to rob the mansion in the next episode. And I don't know how I feel about her and Bruce already knowing each other this soon, but I don't know, it's just a way for him to draw more viewers. I guess the girl isn't too bad who plays her, I just don't know about the placement of all these characters being here at once, way before Batman. It's really odd. I mean, I'm not going to hate on it just for that. I'm not one of those people spamming comments about, oh, this and that didn't happen in the comics, this and that. It's so stupid if it's happening on the show right now. Not like that, but I'm still a fan, so I'm going to be a little bit annoyed when, completely change how characters met and stuff. It's a little bit frustrating if you're a fan of the source material. But, and I understand, although that this is a different version, so I'm going to give them a little bit of leeway as far as that goes. I'll try to, anyway. But, so she's alright. Again, I still don't know how I feel about her and Bruce already knowing each other. And I also like the guy who plays Falcone. I think I may have mentioned that a couple minutes ago. John Doman, he's pretty good. We see how he's really smart and he's really manipulative, but he's also a really good talker, so and we can see he'd probably be pretty brutal at the snap of a finger too. So that's all good, and I'm not gonna make this video as long as my Strain reviews or anything like that, but I just did want to go over some stuff. And the episode kind of ends with Penguin washing up and killing a guy and taking the sandwich and stuff, and, after Gordon supposedly shot him in the head. And, he just, the episode's a lot about showing, Bullock and Gordon's contrasting styles, and we also see he has a girlfriend, Barbara Gordon. He's Gordon's fiance, girlfriend. And I don't know if I really like the actress who plays her too much. Erin Richards, she doesn't do a bad job. She just seems a little too model-like for Gordon, I think, but I don't know if you understand what I mean by that, but I think she should look a little bit different. Then again, I haven't read the comics too much, but I know they don't have the greatest history in the comics either. I'm pretty sure they get divorced at some point, but I could very well be wrong, so don't post a bunch of angry comments saying, oh yeah, dude didn't even realize that's not true, and God. Anyway, but it seems like she has a connection to the guys who were giving Bullock and Gordon trouble, in the other department, or the other station. And she has a personal history with the female there. I forget her name, I apologize. But, so she's probably not as good as she seems, and she's probably involved in more than we know right now, and definitely more than Gordon knows. So that's going to be interesting later. And, that's pretty much all I wanted to touch on for the episode. I think the highlight was definitely, Ben McKenzie does a pretty good job as Gordon, too. I think he actually does look a little bit like Gary Oldman. He sort of reminds me of him a little bit. And they show Gordon's morale and his ideals and his virtue and stuff pretty well in the show. So, that part's pretty good. But I think the real highlight was actually the kid who plays Bruce Wayne. I connected with him, and I kind of geek out a little bit when I just know, he says these lines that makes me think of Batman, and he's going to turn into that and, really bring it. So, he does a pretty good job. He's pretty enjoyable, and you can really feel for him. They do a good job of that. He does a good job of that. So he was definitely the highlight for me. We also see Edward Nygma, the Riddler, and he's actually a coroner for the Gotham Police Department with Gordon and Bullock, which is a little odd again that all these villains just happen to be there right now, but he's just really obsessed with talking to people in riddles and questions instead of giving them direct answers. But it's kind of funny when Gordon solves one of the questions or riddles he has right away, and he looks a little almost hurt by that. So that should be fun, I guess. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but we've seen Poison Ivy. She was the daughter of the guy that was framed for killing Bruce's parents. And we see her kind of caressing her plants when her mother is questioned. So there's a lot of coincidences in the show with it regards to villains being there. I've already talked about that, but even in the New 52, she came from an abusive home, so it's not like overly inaccurate or anything. It's just really ironic. So, but the acting's good. I really like the visual style and the camera work. It feels like Chicago, but worse. So I really like the visual style, the tone, the atmosphere. It definitely has potential. So I'll probably be watching this next week. I'm not guaranteeing I'll do a review, though. If I really get into it, I probably will. But I'm not guaranteeing I'll do a review every week like I do with The Strain. But, it's a good show. I recommend checking it out. Giving your own thoughts on it. Seeing what you think about it. And, hey, I'll catch you guys next time for my Strain review on Monday at the latest. And, peace. They should really just do a Batman TV series. Seriously. But still a good show, good start.